With this video, we're going to run down a little bit about who we are and what we do to get plumbers those more phone calls with less hassle. So first and foremost, we are a marketing firm that works specifically with plumbing companies. This allows us to specialize and see what works in the marketplace for that industry. And then we're able to, execute new tactics and new ideas across our entire client base. Makes us very hyper-focused on getting plumbers what they need. So here's a little bit about what we're going to cover. We'll cover who we are, what our system is, how we kind of start that up, and what each part of that system is, how we track our progress, and how you can get started. So first and foremost, we are Flow Control Marketing. We're a creative marketing and advertising agency that helps plumbing companies. And the whole point is that we handle your marketing so you can handle your business. It's a lot to try and do both at once, and we want to be the marketing arm of your plumbing company. So who am I? My name is Tyler Williams. I'm the owner of Flow Control Marketing, and I've been in advertising for 15 plus years. I've seen it switch from like the traditional, print, radio, TV into the crazy fragmentation and tracking and stat and data-based advertising that we have today. It's been a lot of fun. As things have evolved, so has my job. And to give you an idea of who we have on board our team, we have a fantastic group, they're right here, of marketers and designers and videographers and social media specialists who are just dedicated to getting our clients results. So let's talk about marketing systems. And the big question is, why use a system at all? And it's because these days what we run into is a lot of companies are trying to do piecemeal marketing. And piecemeal marketing can work here and there, but it's a lot of like, try this, try that, and you're all over the map on what you're doing. What works a whole lot better is to take each of those pieces and roll them into a system, because each one is going to support the next. If you're running search ads, that's going to help your brand awareness. If you're going to do regular social media content, that helps your brand awareness. If you're going to do video ads, all of it helps work towards your brand awareness. And the whole point of all of this is to get your customers to call you instead of just go searching for any plumber in the market. And the reason why we want to make sure that we're hitting all these points on a system is because you never know where you're going to touch a customer, and you never know when they're going to wake up and need a plumber. Here's a very quick rundown of the services that we include in our package. A website that's driven for conversions, search engine optimization on that website as well as other platforms, pay-per-click advertising, largely search and retargeting, though we do run display ads cold, we just don't recommend it most of the time. Social media ads, call tracking and recording. This is highly important for us to know what's working. Reputation management, we watch your reviews that pour in and we help you get new ones. A blog and website content, this kind of dovetails in with the search engine optimization, but it's regular content updates on your website. We handle your email marketing, so you have just one little drip feed going out. The social media content management, so you're constantly posting on social, and we give a good foundation of what content can be there, but not so much that it's going to overwhelm the feed and you can't jump in as well. And then we have a dashboard, and the dashboard is what our team uses in order to track everything, measure, and come up with new ideas as we roll out your marketing initiatives. And with that, let's dive into each one of these services. So the first one that we have is your website. And we have a specialized template that we use for our clients. And what we will do is switch out the colors and logos and fonts, but the overall structure is going to remain the same. And the reason why we do that is it's built for conversion, and we know what we have works well. It's got click to call numbers all over it. It's got your services plastered on it, and it works well. And we don't want to rock the boat or break the mold when we have something that works right now. Now, that means that you will be able to switch out, of course, logo and information, as well as different service offerings if you have some special things that we need to pay attention to. So we track all the clicks and calls on the website. It's very SEO friendly and plays well with Google. It gets regular updates, which also helps it play well with Google. We've got 30 days of backups built into the servers, so that way if anything goes wrong, we're able to just roll it back into when it was working, which is really important because we also make it available for you to access your own website. So if you want to do your own postings, or if you want to make an announcement, you have that ability on your website. We've also got built-in reporting for the website. It's tied into the dashboard that I mentioned earlier, and that's part of what we need to see in order to make sure that our marketing is hitting the mark. Website is also mobile responsive, which is pretty standard these days, but it used to be that you had a desktop site, then a desktop and a mobile site. Now they're one and the same. If you make changes to one, it gets carried over to the other. It's another signal for Google to say this is a good website. So then we also take this website and we do a bunch of different things for SEO optimization. The SEO optimization is mainly for organic rankings. We want to make sure that your website ranks high in your marketplace. We do a number of things on the front end and back end in order to make this happen, and it's a constant checking and seeing where you're placing and making adjustments to the site in order to make sure that you keep climbing. And some of this has to do with your competition. So we want to analyze your competition in order to see where they are ranking and what they are doing, and then we're able to adjust accordingly. The next up is call tracking and recording. The reason why this is so important is because we need to know what's working with our marketing, and that's why we change all your numbers on your website and your listings in order to work for our call tracking purposes. We can always undo it if we need to down the road, but what it allows us to do is pinpoint what things are working very well for you. And the recordings are very nice. If you don't have this set up through another place, it helps us because then we know, how people are being received on the phone, but it also gives you a really good way to train your staff, which is a huge deal. And so the calls that we track are your website, of course, your advertising methods, landing pages and things like that, as well as your business listings. And the stats for those calls are again fed into the dashboard so we can look up at any time, okay, how many calls did we generate in how much time? And PPC is another one. One of the biggest things that you have to consider when you're running a business is doing search advertising at the very least. But what we like to do is we like to take it at least one step further, where we take search and we're able to get people to your name and to your website for the services that you offer. But then we follow it up with a little bit of retargeting. It doesn't cost that much, and it's extremely valuable for bumping up the top of mind awareness. And what these are the little display ads that will follow people around. Amazon was awesome at making these, and they still are. But so that way, if they're searching plumbing, they happen to go to your website, maybe they bounce over to somebody else's website. But no matter what, you're the one who's going to be following them around. And reputation management, we've got to make sure that we are getting reviews for you. It helps with SEO and organic rankings, as well as like where you are in directory listings. But it also gives a very good credibility boost. It's just human nature to go, I need somebody to do something for me, and I'm going to grab the person who's got 4 or 5 stars. Once you hit 3 stars and especially below, there's really just a gut check on whether or not you want to do business with that business. And so what we try and do is we try and set you up for success. So you can take the hit if you get a bad review, but you've got enough good ones there where your overall average doesn't go down and stays up in 4 or 5 stars. That's really what we're trying to get to. And listings management. So this is part of SEO, but there are a number of directories on the internet. Some are local to your area, such as like Chamber of Commerce directories and things like that. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that the name, the phone number, the address, the service listings are all consistent across all of those. And this is something that we have to go back in and check with a regular interval, because what Google does is they say, wow, look at the presence. We found them here, we found them there, we found them all across the internet. We're going to rank them a little bit higher because they're very consistent. They have a lot of spots where we're finding them. And if your information is wrong, Google goes, well, that doesn't count as them because the phone number is different. And so we want to make sure that we have all those correct. The other side of it is if your phone number is incorrect on one of these listings and a customer just happens to use that listing, they're not going to reach you. Email marketing. So email twice a month. And if we can put a deal or a coupon or an offer in, that's great. But it's another thing where the inbox is still one of the most powerful places that you can be for people. So what we want to do is make sure that you show up there at least twice a month. And really one of the best ways to do this is continuing service. So if you helped somebody with a furnace repair, you should have an idea of when you need to have them scheduled for cleaning or upgraded maintenance. Well, send them an email around that time. And as well as, hey, it's this time of year, things are getting colder. Have you looked at your heating system? Have you looked at your cooling system? And making sure that those elements are all taken care of. A simple maintenance request. Hey, do you want us to come scope out your heating system before things get too cold? Well, now would be the time. So schedule an appointment. And social media content. Social media content is an awareness game. It is those regular posts that go out into the ether. And we, depending on what we end up doing, sometimes we may apply a little bit of a boost spend or an ad spend to these, but we also want to make sure that you're getting regular content updates. It's the hardest thing for a business to keep up on. And honestly, what we will do is we will provide the foundation of regular updates so you don't have to worry about posting new things, but it's always best if you supplement those efforts with your own content of like, hey, here's a happy customer. Here's our crew heading out for the day. Here's the trucks being washed. Here's a strange repair. Those things, somebody gets a new certification or there's a birthday. You got a new sign on the building. Things like that can go a long way to making you feel like the local hometown plumber, and you need that. What we will do is make sure that you never go dark, that you always have something that's going out. And then our marketing dashboard. So this is where we create the dashboard and all the stats funnel in. This is what my team, what our account reps use in order to look at your business. And so we see the same stats you do if you log into this thing. And so if you ever log in and you have a question, you can just ask your rep. Say, hey, I saw this over here. What does this mean? No problem. They'll get back to you. The nice thing about the dashboard is we're able to really measure their performance, because overall we want to make sure that the money that you spend on our services is an investment, and in order to do that, we just need to make sure things are working. And if something's not working, we will dive in and we will pivot. And that's another part of marketing. Everything in marketing is a bit of an experiment. You get it going and you go, all right, this is working. But then if something stops working, you need to understand why, and that's where we drop in. And because we handle plumbing companies across the globe, we're usually able to figure out these problems before they hit you or right as they hit you, and then we also have a solution coming in on the heels of it to try and keep you busy and keep those phone calls going. And that's what I mean by less hassle. We bring you the phone calls in a way that you don't have to worry about it. We'll worry about it for you. And we will work towards your goal of making sure that your plumbing company is getting the most calls in the market and stays on top of those Google listings. And so the way things work, how you start with us, our onboarding process is pretty simple. We've got a lot of tasks to do within the first 90 days, and that's where most of the work is front loaded there. What we like to do is, if you sign our contract, then we get you on an onboarding call, which is anybody you need from your team in order to give us information and account access, an account rep from my team, as well as my technical strategist, in order to make sure that we link up and have access to the things that we need in order to implement the digital side of our strategy. So that call is really important. And then after that, we have a lot of work to do. We have to build your website out. We have to make sure your landing pages are going. We have to make sure the ads are going. And there's a calendar in place for us to make sure that we meet those goals. And then after that, what we do is we have regular monthly, at least, check-ins with you. These are calls that they don't need to be very long, 15, 30 minutes, in order for us to just look over your stats, tell you what we're seeing, what we're going to work on this, in the upcoming month, and making sure that you're getting feedback from us and we're getting feedback from you. And then the other thing that we like to do is quarterly deep dives. So this helps us really pivot our strategy for your business. So 3-4 times a year, we go and we spend a 2-hour deep dive into, okay, what's going on? What is the season doing? Is there anything in your area going on that we need to know about? Do you have new guys coming up? Do we need to change our KPIs, which are key performance indicators, because you have more trucks on the road and you need to service more people now? So this is all part of the ongoing strategy. We need to know what's happening in your business, and this is where those quarterly deep dives really help us. And then we're able to execute monthly and then check in and go, what went well the last quarter and where are we going next? And so that's really what we do at Flow Control Marketing. And listen, a lot of the stuff you can even do in-house. It's just a hassle, and that's what we try and take off from. But if you want a good step in the right direction, go ahead and go to our website and look for our marketing checklist. It's a series of steps that you should do in order to make sure that you are getting more calls with less hassle. And that's Flow Control Marketing in a nutshell. More calls, less hassle. We take on your marketing, you run your business, but it's a collaborative relationship. It's something we work on together. So if you have any questions or you need anything, go to flowcontrolmarketing.com. You can send us a note there or email us at info@flowcontrolmarketing.com. And if you want some steps that you can do on your own, check out our website, flowcontrolmarketing.com, and you'll see a little checklist there that you can download, and that'll give you a good overview of where you can start with your own marketing. But if you get overwhelmed, just give us a call.